Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, welcome back to the vlog. Today we're going to be working on the k20z3 head. Mike's going to be doing a full rebuild with Ferrera valves, springs, retainers, and seals. The head actually came off of the Turbo EG build that we are currently doing. For that previous video, we did have kind of like a short version. We showed Mike starting the rebuild of the head, but not the full in-depth version. So this is going to be that in-depth version that you're waiting for. So without further ado, send it right over to Mike.
It's k20z3 head. It's got stock valves and valve train. We're going to be taking it out, installing new Ferrera valves and SuperTech seals, and we have some SuperTech springs and retainers. Never taken apart a head before. You're gonna learn today. This tool right here is a valve spring compressor. There's different kinds. This one in particular. You can use this for B series, D series, whatever. To get this, I got this one on summitracing.com. I got it a long time ago. You can see it's been through a lot. And then to install the valve train,
how's it going, guys? Audio cutout. What you're gonna use is this valve spring compression compressor tool.
So this will basically mount up right here. It bolts in. This little contraption here sits on the retainer. This bolt right here will push down on the spring. With a magnet or flat tip screwdriver, you can remove the keepers, which is what holds the retainers on the valves. If you didn't have those, your valve train will just go everywhere. When you have the valve train off on one side, you can see right here, there's a good comparison. You know, springs and retainers up here, up here. You just push off the valves like that. And they just pop out. Okay, now that we got all the valve train off and the valves off, now it's time to remove the old seals and the old seats, or well, the seats for the springs, and get it prepped and ready to lap the new valves. Anytime you install new valves, you always want to lap them. Basically what you do when you're lapping them, you're cutting a groove on the valve, cuts it on the seat, so this way when it closes, it gets a proper seal. Before we install and lap the new valves, we got to remove the old seals. Now there's a bunch of tools that they do make. My personal favorite are these pliers. I've always used them. They work good. And how I do it is grab the valve, probably can't see, and just give it a couple pushes, push, And no, it will not damage the guides. I've done this on a lot of cylinder heads, my own personal one and my own car, which works great. Alright, now that we got all the seals off, now we got to take out the old seats. Now, usually you can use a magnet, screwdriver, or if you're lucky, you can get them out with your hand. I'm gonna probably go use a magnet. You can get a little magnet here, and how I usually do it is spin it around. Eventually, when it listens, sometimes you have to guide it, or use a flat tip screwdriver. There you go. Alright, now that we have the head completely empty, this time is great. I mean, this head's already been resurfaced. So at this time, I'm going to get a rag and some brake press cleaner and just clean the area up and get it ready, because I'm going to lap the valves, and then I'll show you how to do that in just a minute. Alright guys, so before we lap the valves, I want to clean the area. Clean the valve seats, which will be these right here are the valve seats. So when the valve closes, you want to have a good seal. So again, this head was resurfaced already, and now we're going to use some brake press cleaner and a rag to clean the area, and then I'll show you how to lap the valves. Alright guys, so when you lap valves, there's a compound right here. It's by Permatex valve grinding compound, and there's a valve lapping tool. There's a few ways that you can do this. You can do it by hand, where you, for example, you need to put compound on the valve. Put it at the edge right here. You probably see the little edge. You put a nice good amount around it. Put it back in. You get your lapping tool. Now it has suction cups. So once you put it on there, you can go like this, or faster way. Drill my way. Now you don't have to cut a lot. How I learned was, after you put the compound and you spin it very slow, in, out. Now you want it to where you don't hear the grinding sound anymore. grinding sound turns into more of a smooth sound. Right there, you're on to the next valve. So let's get started. I put a dab on my finger, hit the valve, and give it a nice even amount, not too much. Doesn't take much. Now you can look right there. That's how it's been cut. So when you put it in, it locks in. Should not be able to spin it with your finger. Now you're gonna get a proper seal. Now before you probably couldn't tell, but they were spinning before because they were cut. Now that they're cut, they don't spin. Alright guys, after you cut the valves, you repeat the same process on the other set. Now we're going to do the install of the seats and valve seals. To do that, you're going to need two things, well, three things. To install the seals, after you put the seats in, you get a 3/8 extension with a 3/8 deep socket 10mm. When you put socket on top of the seal, you lightly tap, which I'm going to show you that right now. And to install the valve train, these are going to need these spring compressors. You know, you get them on eBay, 25 bucks. They work great. Of course, there's probably fancier tools, but this works. The base of the springs, they just drop on there. It doesn't matter, you know, intake, exhaust, they're all the same. Want to make sure they go in all the way. Now, if it doesn't go down smoothly, put a little bit of oil. Okay, now that you have them installed, I'm going to show you how to do the seals. Now on the packets for the seals, they are marked. The blue ones are for the exhaust and the brown ones are for the intake. So what you want to do, set them on top of the valve, push it down with your fingers, get your deep socket, put it on top of the seal, get a hammer, just that's it. You can tell when it's in pretty much by the sound of the metal. Let's get all these in. Repeat the same process for the intake side. We just did the exhaust. Remember, blue exhaust, brown intake. So, turn it around. Notice I have a flat piece of cardboard underneath. That'll help keep the valves up while you're doing the install. Okay, now that we got the seats and the seals in, looks like this. Now we can get started on installing the valve train. Now, let's see if I can get the video. Get your spring and retainer. Drop that in, like so. Get your spring compressor. Basically, what you're trying to do, when this bolt here screws all the way down, it pushes this, it pushes this piece down to allow the valve stem to pop up to allow you to install the keepers. After that, track the screws slowly, and the keepers lock up with retainers. When you're done, it should look like this. Now just repeat the same process for the exhaust and intake. Once you get your valve train installed, this is the end product. The next thing you do is get this tossed on the motor and turbo kit install.
Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed that video, and I will end it with this. The biggest adventure you can take is to live the life of your dreams. It's Oprah Winfrey. You guys have a great week. I will see you in the next one.